overnight when we went to bed, be able to print out new models. And it was a fantastic improvement in communication with our clients. And it really helped us more efficiently produce and provide our product. So that's a little bit about me. Today I'm going to be talking about 3D printing in the home rapidly becoming reality. So the next step, adjusting our imagination to the revolution of making our ideas possible. I'm going to just get this little thing here. So click. Okay, cool. 3D printing, a normal part of life. As the guy said before me, 3D is a kind of a big hype word. We're getting really excited about it. We still are excited about it, and people are learning about, wow, 3D printing exists. But because the technology is developing like any other technology, 3D printing is actually getting very, very close to what we might call click and print technology. Like any technology, it will keep developing like the motor engine until you basically turn it on, click, print, and works. It's almost there, and because of the interest in 3D printing as an industry, the development is getting faster. So we're actually going to come to that point sooner than later. Oh, wow, okay, it's gone a little bit crazy. The next question. So basically, when we accept the idea that a 3D printer in the home will become a click and print operation, that's fantastic, and that's all wonderful, but then we ask ourselves, what's the next step? What can come from that? So, click. Okay, we have to reawaken our imaginations, right? 3D printing opens millions of options to us. First, we play with pre-built ideas. 3D printing, one thing I find, which is one of the most wonderful, beautiful miracles of 3D printing, is that there are very few limitations. The only limitation, technically, is our imagination. If you understand how a 3D printer works, you can actually adjust your imagination and adjust your ideas to be printable. And then you can actually put an idea that came from your head into your hand and demonstrate it in 1 second and not half an hour. So then after the initial, so this is where we are at the moment, actually. A lot of people all around the world buying 3D printers. They saw it in the magazines, they saw it in the newspapers, they saw it on TV. They bought a cool printer for 1,000 to 2,000 euros, whatever. And they print out some fun stuff. They go on to Imagine, they go on to, what's the other one? Forget it. But they go on to something like Imagine, and they print out some cool stuff. They print out some toys, for example, here. So this kind of guy. This is a portrait from my old girlfriend. She wasn't the most beautiful woman in the world, but no, actually, she wasn't great at all. But this is an example of what is standard, what people will do with their printers. And a large majority will just print cool stuff, fun stuff, toy stuff. But, I mean, that's never going to last. When I had a printer, I started printing off fun stuff like this, like my girlfriend's portrait. Love you. And, yeah, but it burns out. You know what I mean? It burns out, and you're looking for something new. And I think that feeling is universal to all people, that you first of all print out the girlfriend, and then you start asking the question, okay, what am I going to do with this printer? I have the possibility, I have a factory in my own house, yeah? I can do anything. And that question really bites into you, and it bites into me, and it bites into everyone that owns and buys a 3D printer. So I'm going to click onto the next one with my little thing. Click. Okay. Kickstart our brains. Ouch. Okay. So let's face up to one reality. Today, we are a consumer world. You have a very small minority of engineers and companies designing mass-produced products, and we sit down there, we click on Amazon, we buy nice products, we buy products that we hear about, we buy our iPhones, and we think, well, fantastic. And we accept that. That's actually not a good thing. We accept the world that a very small number of engineers, designers, and marketing people are actually offering to us. And that's actually limiting ourselves. The need to engineer one's surroundings, as I said, our options and the world that we surround ourselves in are being designed and dictated by a smaller number of people. And that number gets smaller and smaller, and we start losing control. So the percentage of population, as I said, exactly. So with this facility of a factory in your own house, the opportunity to actually take some of this control back into your life is given to you. It doesn't mean that we have taken it yet. It doesn't mean that we have started taking it yet. But the opportunity is there. Okay. Oops. Click, click. Wait a second. Bing. Okay, cool. So, true need to develop, war or crisis. Okay, this is a topic that maybe people will agree with, maybe people won't agree with, but I want to talk about it today. The idea is that 3D printing has been born in a time of prosperity. We're doing good, guys, let's be honest. We all have our cars, our little houses, we go on Amazon, we go on eBay, we buy all our normal stuff that we normally don't need, but we do. We fill ourselves with material and we have the money to pay for it. So we are definitely living, thank God, in a time of prosperity. But it continues to be a toy of the wealthy and to do. At the moment, 3D printers, home 3D printers, is a luxury product. And it's a toy. It's a fantastic toy that's getting better and better, but it's still a toy, let's face it, okay? To break the revolution away from the flow of blind, stupid consumerism, the technology needs to be needed. That's probably one of the biggest, most important topics I want to say today. This technology, to develop into the future, needs to be needed. At the moment, we're enjoying the fad. We're enjoying the fireworks, the amazement of 3D printing. Oh my God, fantastic, I need to have it. But most of us don't need to have it at the moment. We don't. We have our luxurious lifestyles. We have everything in front of us. We have a 3D printer to make the girlfriend. We have a 3D printer to make the little comb. Unnecessary, but we can do it. So we come to an interesting question, and I think it's worth asking is, from this prosperity, this wonderful luxury that we have at the moment, what's going to happen next? Because technology always develops. It's like a child. It's going to grow, and it's going to be very interesting to see what happens next. And that's why I want to talk to you guys a little bit more. So, next step. Kickstart our brains. Okay, I did this. Oops. Okay. Hold on. Am I going backwards or forwards? Oops. 1 second, sorry. 1 second, I apologize for this. I actually don't know how to get this back on. Maybe play. Oh, sorry, that's good. Ding, ding, ding. Keep going. Okay. So what happens when you buy, I have no idea what that's meant to be. I apologize for that, but okay, the idea is, what would happen, for example, if you or me were able to go on eBay, go on Amazon, and buy ourselves a teddy bear for our child for €5. It's all great, fantastic. But what happens, for example, in 5 years or 10 years' time when 10 litres of petrol costs €100? And instead of paying your €3.99 to Amazon for your transport costs, you have to pay €99. That, at the moment, we're enjoying a fantastic luxury of lifestyle, a prosperity lifestyle. But that's not going to last. We all know that. Every single person in this room knows that this luxury, this fantastic lifestyle that we're enjoying now, will not last. And exactly, when that teddy bear costs €3.99 and $99 or €99 in travel expenses, then we're going to start thinking differently. What happens if the DIY shop has no nails or hammers? What exactly, when the materials reduce in quantity, when we don't have as much as we do now, what happens? We start thinking about the world in a different way. Necessity is the mother of invention. War and crisis is the mother of necessity. What I mean is, as I said, 3D printing is a fantastic, wonderful toy that we're enjoying at the moment. When reality hits us in 5 to 10 years, when the cost of oil goes up, when the cost of fuel goes up, when the amount of material available to us goes down, as the population of the world rises, we're going to be in a situation where for the first time, we will start looking at the modern technology that we have now and in the future as not a toy, but as a tool. Our 3D printers in our homes will not be designed to make stupid toys. They'll be there to actually make what we need, and not only in the home, but overall. And that's the interesting thing, because as the pace of the technology of 3D printing develops, so too comes the point where we will actually need it. And that's a fascinating point, and that's a point that some people don't talk about. And I wanted to talk about that today. I found it's very important to realize that. Okay? Okay. Back to necessity. What's important? With war and crisis, the normal daily life is localized and individual. As I said, at the moment we're in a balloon world. Let me focus on crisis. I'm not saying that war will come tomorrow, but I'm saying crisis. And crisis means that our normal accepted lifestyle that we enjoy today will not be there tomorrow. And when that's not there tomorrow, our lives become much simpler and very much faster, boys and girls. People simply have to use the tools at hand of what they need to live. I always take the example of my granddad, my granny, in, wartime. When something was broken, they went with a screwdriver and they fixed it. They had no training, no expertise, but they sat down, drank a cup of tea, and fixed the window. We don't do that anymore because we have options. We phone people. Some guy comes into a truck and drives 30 kilometers to our house and repairs it for us. We pay money, bank transfer, gone, woof, everything is good. These options are not going to be there for the future. We cannot afford this luxury life anymore. Now, I'm not going to play up the next point, but I will say it. Will war and crisis come? Yeah, of course. Let's be honest, we all talk about it. When we sit down with our families and friends, when we drink a beer together, we all say that this bubble has to blast sometime. It will. And then when it will, 3D printing will become a tool and not a toy. But with war and crisis comes a very reality check. What is needed for life? As I've said before, reality check, guys. And when we have to do a reality check and the technology is good enough, those two things will actually come together. Example, just a simple example that one of my friends told me last night. I said it's a good example. Werner von Braun, Germany, 1930s. He was playing in fields with his friends, doing little toy rockets. Everyone laughed. He said, "What are you wasting your time doing toy rockets?" And he said, "Well, it's the future," and everyone laughed. Only in time of crisis and war that the development and the interest and the resources came to say, "Oh my God, we can use this technology. We can develop this technology." And from this time of crisis came a technology that we now depend on, all of us, every day. And that's what I'm saying that is coming with 3D printing as well. 3D printing is a wonderful idea now, but it's going to become the rockets of the future. So, building our lives, shorter materials, increased force to become inventors. It's a fantastic thing. If anyone remembers when they talked to their grannies and their granddads, it was wonderful to actually see that your granddad was able to invent things, to make simple solutions in the house, to create things. It was a wonderment. It doesn't exist now for the majority of people. That will thankfully come back. We will actually become inventors once again. People sitting down saying, my door won't lock. How wide won't it lock? Can I invent a solution to that? We will be forced to be inventors. Because let's be honest, we've become such a lazy civilization that we need a kick in the ass to get back inventing. So we engineering things are in the force to break. Exactly, we'll be forced to do it. So it's one of those things, and if you look back in the past repeats itself and it'll come back. But we can learn from it. So another little part I want to discuss for a minute is making things printable. It's all fantastic having ideas to be able to print, but you have to actually understand how to do them. This comes from, there is no golden bullet. I have to explain this. Learning the physics of printing. I actually was asked to explain this, that one of the main tips of actually making anything printable is actually studying how a 3D printer works in the first place. And everything that now and in the future that we have to print, we have to simply understand the physics. Keep models simple and compartmentalized. That's with any good design. Keep it simple is always the best solution. Okay, that's just examples of a few things I'm doing. That's also, if anyone is interested later in talking about it, I also did a little bit of a project on how to simplify architectural and building models to actually be printable and easily printable. So that's more of that stuff. Releasing the magic of our minds. I think one of the most wonderful things, and please understand that I love 3D printing. I think it's one of the most incredible things in the world. And the opportunity to release our inside child, inside imagination is one of the most wonderful opportunities we've had in the last 100 years. Our minds and imaginations are like rainbows with no ending, and it's true. Talk to a little child. They'll give you 1,000 ideas, and you'll be amazed by every one of them. Talk to a 40-year-old, he'll have 2, and you won't be so surprised. Our current world trains us to not use this miracle. It's simple, guys. We live in a consumer world. Yeah, we're given products, and we don't have to think about it anymore. We let our minds get lazy. 3D printing now and more time of war crisis will give us back. As I said before, as things actually become more reality, we'll be forced to do it. It's not an option. It's not like saying, oh, we might do it. It'll happen simply. It's the development of mankind. So our eyes become trained to study design, our brains start to raise with solutions. As I said, we'll be driven to think about things. For example, this is the feeder for an Ultimaker 3D printer. It's not the greatest design in the world, but it's open source. I have the information to look at it and examine it and the real details. And I can sit down and say, I can make this better. This is going to become a normal mentality for people in the world. People are going to look at products from the kettle, from the cooker, from the car, from every detail, and they're going to look at these and they'll say, we can make that better. We can also share the ideas and even become better and faster. And that's great because the technology is there to actually allow this. Seeing design weaknesses. We have thousands of products all around us. They're not good, but we accept them because we're lazy. We don't want to develop more things. We're not developers anymore. We're consumers, and we let it happen. That's slowly going to go away with the development of 3D printing. Limited resources is irrelevant to problem solving. I always find that if you want to solve a problem, you can do it with anything you find in the local shop or in your house. That's no problem. Okay, getting our hands dirty. So I apologize if anyone has bad nightmares tonight. Designing individual solutions will force us to jump deeper into how things work. The nice thing about all this is that when we are forced to actually come up with solutions at home to use our 3D printer as our factory, we have to get more into the detail and learn about things. It's actually, with resource crisis, with all these things, the old saying is there's always a brighter side. And the brighter side is that we actually learn how the world around us works. Creating a stronger respect for how things work and how we use materials. It's also, when you have your own little factory at home, when you're actually producing the products that you need, that your family needs, that your children need, you'll actually understand and respect the material involved, the value of the material and how it behaves and how it works. And we'll become all a little bit smarter people with that process. This is actually just another example with a feeder system that I was playing with. This is another thing. You have your own factory. You can sit down and develop ideas. You can drink a nice cup of tea, a nice beer, and say, I can make this better. And for example, this is a very simple idea of a feeder system that I designed and shared with other people. And this is how things are going to happen. And I am the minority at the moment, and I do realize that, and I do accept that. But when things come to a hard point in the future, I won't be the minority anymore. The majority will start to do this because they have to. This is just a few details, a few fun things. Of course, one of the questions is, or you might say is, if 3D printing becomes more necessary, if people in their home need it, not that they want it, but they need it, of course the question will be, how do they design something? If they have a problem, how are they going to put it onto a screen? How are they going to print it? The answer is, software is going to have to get better to actually make much more user-friendly, much more easy. Making a 3D model, if you have experience, is no problem. If you don't have experience, it is a problem. But thankfully, same with the 3D printing technology, that is developing faster and better and has to happen. And of course, it will happen. We're not walking against a wall. We're walking with the wall. This is another idea. This is just to demonstrate that when you're given the facilities, when you're given the possibilities to create, and you have to create, the brain starts. It's like turning on a light into your mind. And all of us have it. And I'm saying that this is one of the greatest revolutions in mankind's history. This is a simple idea of another feeder system with all different other benefits. So that's it. 3D printing, the start of a true revolution. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoyed my presentation today, and I'm going to ask for questions and answers now, okay? Thank you very, very much.